Welcome to the Rewards Master Live. I haven't done one of these in quite some time, and so I've got some new programs. I'm using StreamYard now, so this is my kind of first voyage on this, so hopefully we can kind of walk through it together. I do have several topics lined up for today. So if you're watching live, if you would just say I'm here or just give some kind of message to indicate that you're here with me, that will help me out a lot as I'm trying to figure out this new way of doing it. All right. Lenora is on. Good to have you here. Good to have you. Anybody else that jumps on there, just like I said, put some kind of message on there so I can see that you're here. All right. Well, as I said, welcome to my sixth live. The ones that I did before were always just through YouTube itself, and I couldn't do slides and things of that nature. So let me know if you can see this on your end. I think you'll probably be able to, but through this StreamYard, I'm able to put up different slides and things and be able to walk through different topics. So hopefully you're able to see that. Let me know if you can in the comments, and I'd appreciate it. Every week I'm planning to do these at 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoons. There might be a few a year that I can't, but that's kind of my upcoming schedule. I've had a little trouble figuring out when would be a good time to do lives and that would fit with my schedule and hopefully be a time that people could be able to get on and share some thoughts. And also because, Sunday's a day that a lot of people aren't working. So maybe it's a time when it would work really well for a lot of folks. So that's my hope. So as you come on, again, as I said, if you would put a little note there, that lets me know that you're here and that we're going through this stuff together. So what I'm planning to do is every week that we're here on live together, I've got kind of 6 different areas of emphasis that I'm hoping to go over. The first is new developments, and that's hopefully going to be looking at different things in the points and miles community that are, things that are popular at the time and things that have come out that have kind of shocked the community. There's been a whole bunch of things in the last little bit that have come up, and we're going to talk about one of those in depth today. But that's kind of what we're hoping to do with new developments. So basically new news and credit cards and miles, points, rewards, devaluations, things of that nature. And then every week I'm planning on doing a segment on restaurant rewards. Now, not many folks talk about restaurant rewards, and I have found that to be very strange. And so we're going to I'm going to share a different program that I've encountered and what some of the benefits are, what some of the rewards you can get with that program are. So I'm hopeful that that'll be something that'll catch on and maybe more people in the community will talk about it as we move forward. And then every week I plan to have what I'm simply going to call a centerpiece. And that is something that is kind of the main event of the show, the thing that is kind of going to take up our central amount of time and discussion as we're going through this together. And then the fourth area of emphasis is going to be upcoming travel, where I share some of our own travel. We travel quite a bit, both domestically, internationally. I'm going to share some of that. Some of it'll be cash booking type stuff. Some will be the hotels. Some of it'll be things like, international flights and what kind of redemption value you can get, things of that nature. And then the reward deal of the day is the next segment that we'll get to. And that's where I just kind of highlight one particular deal that's available in the points and miles world that I think is of great value and hopefully will benefit all of you as well. And then status stuff. So I care about status. And so in that section every week, we'll just mention something briefly about either some sort of airline status, its benefits, how to achieve it, or perhaps hotel status. I can share some stories and things of when it's made a difference for me. And then hopefully some of you can respond in much the same way. So that's kind of the different weekly topics that I'm hoping to go over. So As we look at these, again, if you come on to the live, make sure you put a note on there that you're here so that I can see you here. I'm still learning this StreamYard. It's not quite like it is when I was doing it through YouTube before. So it doesn't show me like how many people are on here and things of that nature. So I won't know you're here if you don't put something, just a hello or hi or I'm here, something like that in the comments. I'd appreciate that immensely. All right, so just kind of diving into the material today. The first thing is we're going to go through that section on new developments. And the new development that I wanted to focus on, and there are so many different options that we could talk about in this time that we have together. And we could discuss some of the devaluations that have taken place. I know there's been a devaluation with Hilton that's pretty big at the top end of the spectrum when you're looking at their more aspirational type properties. There's been changes to so many cards. I mean, I'm sure in a future episode, we'll go deep dive into the changes to the Capital One Venture X card. But when it comes to this here today, I wanted to look at the United cards because United Airlines and Chase just recently did a major overhaul to all of their cards. And they are completely different. And they look very much like the model that has been put forth by American Express. And I have those American Express cards. In fact, what I'm hoping to do today is kind of do a comparison between those American Express cards and what United is doing in regard to Delta versus the United cards, because it seems like United is trying to copy the Delta cards. So I don't know if that's exactly what they had in mind, but boy, on surface value, they look like almost a carbon copy, but in my opinion, not as good. And we'll go through each of them. As I said, if you come on, don't forget to put a comment down below, just a hello or I'm here. That helps me to know that you're here in the live stream. So the United cards. If any of you have a United card that's been affected by this, please make a comment. Let us know what you think of it, whether or not you like these new changes or not, because I have only the Gateway card, and the Gateway card is just their no annual fee card that wasn't very good before, and it's not very good now. So I'm not even going to go over that one as we go through some of these cards. But the reason that this is kind of an interesting thing for me is I flew with United as a status flyer for many years. And as I did so, I had all of their cards along the way. I had the Explorer card for years. I had the Quest card for 2 or 3 years. And I had the United Club card for United Club Access for 3 or 4 years as well. So I've had every card in their lineup before and experienced all of them. Yet I look at these changes and I think, well, if it was back then and I was still flying and had status with United, what would I think of this? So that's kind of what I'm hoping to share as we go through this. So the first one we'll discuss is the United Explorer card. The United Explorer card is kind of what was always considered to be the really valuable card. It was their $95 annual fee card, and it's jumped up to $150 a year. Now, it's waived for the first year, so this isn't a card that you already have or you're not going to upgrade or downgrade to. Then you can apply for the card, and you can get it for the first year for free, and then you have to pay the $150 in the second year. Now, it gives a 60,000 mile bonus for 3,000 and spend in 3 months. That is not a bad bonus. That's kind of par for the course for this level of card in the airline card world. So this is about what you're going to get with a Delta card. It's pretty close. With an American card, you might get 60 or 70. I've seen them up around 75 before. But this is pretty, consistent with the market, you might say. And then we see that there is a 2x multiplier on United flights. Now, you might say, well, no, the literature says that there is a 7x multiplier on United flights. But that's just a bit of fuzzy math that the airlines use. In fact, most of them will do that. If you're looking on, well, this card earns this many miles on that particular airline, in this case, United, that 7 miles is because they're adding together the 5 miles you get just for being a mileage member, a mileage plus member with United. So you get that whether you have a card or not, you're going to get 5. So really all you're getting extra on this card is you're getting 2 more. So I don't think it's accurate to say this is a 7x earning card on United when you can not have a card at all and earn 5x anyway. So to me, that's just kind of a little bit disingenuous in their advertising policy. And 2x on the airline is nothing to get excited about. There's a lot of different cards that will give you 3x with a transferable currency in a ecosystem like Citi or Chase or American Express with other cards. So you can use the Amex Green card, you can use the Amex Gold card, you can definitely use the American Express Platinum. Platinum will get you 5x on your flights. So a lot of those are a lot better. The only other card, there's one on this list that gives 3x on United flights. So that's not as bad, but really you're probably going to do better as far as point value if you use a transferable card anyway. So this number just doesn't excite me at all. Then there's the 5x on United hotels if you book it through United Hotels. So you can't go to the hotel directly and get 5x United miles. This has to be booked through their portal. Well, everybody's doing that these days. Everybody has portals that they're trying to push us through because they make a commission on that, obviously. So that's kind of par for the course for a lot of cards. And sometimes I use that. I myself now fly with American and I use my executive card. It gets 10x on their hotels through the portal. And I do that all the time. You also get extra loyalty points and extra points from the hotel itself. So it's a much, much better deal than something like this. But that's kind of what we see here that they're trying to push out as a great multiplier, 5x. Well, you're going to get 5x Capital One. You're going to get 5x through a lot of different portals. Chase has it. And those points are just going to be a lot more valuable. So to me, this is just, again, marketing, and they're hoping to push people who just basically have this one card or very, very loyal United flyers to go through their hotel portal. There's also the problem that sometimes the hotel portals are inflated value. In other words, they charge a little bit more than if you book directly to the hotel. So that can be a problem as well. And then it has 2x on dining, which is not exciting at all. You can get a 3x dining card with a transferable currency all day long. So the multipliers just aren't that good. All right, we got Joe FTPA who's come on. He says, hit platinum with UA and Delta last year, have personal Delta Reserve and Platinum, have no UA cards, but evaluating where to focus for 27. Great topic. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. I don't have any status with United Airlines anymore, although I was a platinum flyer with them for many years and a gold flyer with them before that. That's the second from the bottom, as you know, and then the second from the top is platinum. And I switched from them when they started changing everything up as far as what you had to have after COVID to get status, because it just didn't work for me. And I switched over to American and Delta. Right now I have Platinum Pro with American and I have Platinum with Delta. I'm trying to choose between them. Probably going to end up with American because there are just so many incredible ways to get value. And then the other thing is I find their points. American points are worth probably double what United points are, and they might be worth, I don't know, they might be worth 7 or 10 times as much as Delta points. So that's kind of why I've landed there, and they have a lot of good flights out of my airport. So I am familiar with it as well. I will say, though, I do have the Delta Reserve, and we're going to get to that in the comparison portion of this in just a little bit. And I don't use that Delta Reserve a lot because I don't fly Delta quite as much. But I can tell you that is an amazing card, and it has a lot of value, in my opinion. And if you have it, I'd love to know what you think about it as well. Joe says, should be 27. All right. No problem. All right. Well, when we get back to our topic, so $100 travel bank credit for $10,000 in spend. Now, this is just awful. I mean, in my opinion, 10,000 in spend is a lot to spend on a card like this. Now, it wouldn't be on, say, your Amex Gold card, right? I mean, you're using all your dining, all your food, something like that. But to put 10x on this card, a lot of people just have these cards because they want the free bags, and maybe on this one they want the 2 annual passes, 2 passes you get once a year into the United clubs. But to ask people to spend 10,000 to get $100 back, I just don't think that's very good at all, and would never ever put $10,000 on this card with those multipliers just to get that back. Because to me, putting 10,000 on a different card where I'm getting 5x or in a point system that's much more valuable would be more worth it. But I'd love to hear if y'all think that has any reasonable value at all, that $100 travel bank credit. It also, I'm going to say on all these cards, they're pushing this travel bank thing. And the travel bank's been kind of cool because you can put like your American Express Platinum airline credits. You can put money in the travel bank and you get the credit back. So I've used it for that. But the crazy thing about some of these, and I'm not sure if it's true with this one, if you know, put it down in the comments. But I know that some of these travel banks expire in a year. If you just put money in there, like with the American Express Platinum, then it doesn't expire for 5 years. So these aren't even as good as what we've been used to with United Travel Bank, which is really disappointing to me. So that to me is not a very good credit. Okay, going back to the comments, Eternal Vortex. Which card makes sense for a family of 4 that travels on United maybe 2 times a year with 3 check bags? Explorer, or is that not even worth it? Well, let me address that. I'm finished going through this, and then I'll come right back to that question, because in that particular situation, 2 times a year, and you're checking bags, that's kind of the key issue here. If a person like my wife and I, we pretty much travel with carry-ons only. So some of these cards just aren't as valuable to us. But those free bags, when they're $30, $35 a piece, and you're going 2 directions, you're going and coming back with a round trip, that can be very valuable. So let's go through the rest of it, and then we'll try to evaluate it. $50 times 2 for United Hotels. So when you go through their hotel portal, they're going to give you a total of $100 a year in a credit. Now that could theoretically offset a big portion of that $150. But $50, the crazy thing about this, they're trying to kind of carbon copy this against the Delta Gold. It seems like they've got more credits than the Delta Gold, but some of the basic ideas are against the Delta Gold. The Delta Gold gives a Delta Stay credit, but it's $100, but you can use it all at once. This one, they're making you go twice, and you're just getting $50 each pop. So is it usable? Perhaps, but if it were me, I might only be able to stretch out to use it once a year. And if the prices are inflated, then how much is that $50 actually going to get you? Is it really a $50 savings? That has to be examined too. This one cracks me up. There is a $5 a month rideshare credit. So, I mean, everybody that gives a rideshare credit gives $10 a month. Even the crazy one on the American Airlines executive card that you got to take 3 Lyft rides before you get it, you still get $10. But this one's a $5 a month rideshare credit. I guess it can be used in any rideshare. It's not just Uber or just Lyft, but still, that's really not very good. So $60 a year, $50 a year, $25 times 2 for rental cars with, I think it's Avis and Budget. Correct me down below in the comments if it's not, but I think it's Avis and Budget. Well, again, $50, but you can't use the whole $50 at once. You got to use it in $25 increments, first half of the year, second half of the year. To me, it would be pretty good if it was $50. Just like the hotels would be pretty good if it was just $100. But to have to break it up, and then a $10 month Instacart. Maybe some of you use Instacart. I've never used them before, so I don't know a lot about that. To me, that would be like the Grubhub credit, but with Grubhub, I always go and pick up from the restaurant, so I don't have to pay the delivery fee. So yeah, somebody else will have to comment and tell me if that's of any value. It wouldn't be of any value to me. Now, the 2 United Club passes are of value. if I were going to use this card, I would use those passes and I would enjoy them. However, the only thing that's a downside, and this has been true for a while on those, is United Clubs sometimes don't let people in with those passes. So that's just an unfortunate thing. Sometimes they have a sign up, we're not accepting passes today. And it always seems to be the day that I'm flying. So that's just my luck, I guess. And then this is where Eternal Vortex was asking that question, check bags and TSA. It does come with a TSA or global entry credit once every 4 years. That can be helpful. And so what would that be valued at over the course of 4 years? Maybe $20 a year, something like that. And then checked bags. Now, as the question was asked, if you fly 2 times a year with 3 checked bags and a family of 4, well, then you're saving, what is it, $35, 35 and 35, $70, $105 each direction. So times 4, that's over $400 in savings. So I would say that, yeah, this is a pretty decent card to have. Plus, you're going to get the 2 United Club passes. You might have to pay for 2 of you to go in, but you would have 2 United Club passes to use in those travels. That's pretty good. You might use the hotel credit. You might use one of the rental car credits. I wouldn't put a lot of spend. I wouldn't do the $10,000 and spend to get the $100 credit for Travel Bank. But yes, I do believe that if I was traveling like that and I knew I had 2 United flights a year, 4 people going, was going to check 3 bags each time, then for sure, I would think this is a reasonable card in that situation. Then all of these cards, and I'm just going to talk about it now, not when we get to the others, but all of these cards have this JSX credit. And JSX, as far as I understand it, I haven't flown it. My daughter's flown it before. If you've flown JSX, please put something in the comments because I'd love to hear about that, because I've never flown it, because I looked up the prices. They're like $900 to $1,000. They don't fly everywhere, and they give you a credit for it. I don't remember what it is on this one. It might be $50 or $100. I didn't even put it on the slides because it's like, how many people, and why is United pushing people to a different airline? Maybe they're getting a kickback or something. I don't know, but that's just weird that a person who has this $150 card is going to be flying semi-private. Now, maybe it makes sense on the more expensive ones, but I mean, isn't this card for flying United? So I don't know. These credits are so, to me, they're almost like the Equinox credit on the American Express Platinum. Like, I've never known anybody who uses that credit, except if they sometimes might get the app and pay for the app. So to me, it's just a crazy credit. I don't think we have any more comments just as of yet, but yeah, I'd love to hear what some of you think about this new United Explorer card. Now, as I said, I think they're trying to copy American Express, who is putting higher annual fees on their cards, and they're giving a lot of credits, making them quote the coupon book that they're called in the credit card and points and miles community. So they're trying to do the same thing, and they just bombarded us with a whole bunch of crummy coupons here, because the Delta card that's kind of comparable to this one, the Delta Gold card, it has about the same annual fee, but it gives a credit also for their hotels. They call it Delta Stays, but you can use all of it at one time. So to me, that's better. Also, it gives the same check bag fees and all of that. And so is this card on paper better than the Delta Gold? I suppose it is. If you take away the sheer frustration factor of having to manage $5 a month, $25 every 6 months, $50 every 6 months, it's just overload. It's just too much. So United, yes, I guess you made it a better card, but you just made it frustrating at the same time. All right. Gentleman Explorer. Hello. Just started with Amex after running through Chase and Cap One. I have the Blue Business Plus and Surpass with a free night certificate sub and working on 15K spend for second free night certificate. Any thoughts on how to navigate Amex going forward? Well, first of all, the Blue Business Plus is like king of cards to me. That card is awesome to be able to have. Keep it forever. I'm going to keep mine forever because with my other cards with Amex, I'm doing upgrade, downgrade stuff. So I will upgrade to something when they give me an upgrade offer. Like right now, I have 2 business golds and I have a business green. And the business green used to be a business platinum. So I downgraded to the business green. I'm waiting for the upgrade offer because, they have once in a lifetime language. So when I get that, I'll upgrade for a little while, then I'll downgrade, then I'll upgrade. You can do that all day with American Express, or you can cancel the ones you don't need. But you got to have a placeholder card to keep your membership reward points alive. And the Blue Business Plus does that. So, Gentleman Explorer, that is a great card to have. That's a great place to start. Now, as far as the Surpass, I have the Aspire card, and I love free night certificates. In fact, I was listening to another YouTuber talking about free night certificates and are they really worth this? And I think it was Frequent Miler. But the one that they could not disparage or talk down on was Hilton free night certificates, because those bad boys are worth, the sky's the limit. Any property in the world that has standard night availability, it's worth that. So, I think you've got a great strategy there. And to me, as I said, spending $10,000 a year on this Explorer card is not worth that $100. But spending $15,000 on a Surpass card to get a night, if you redeem it for $900 at a Waldorf or a Conrad or whatever, yeah, that is 9 times better than this for only 50% more spend. That is a much more reasonable strategy. So I think you're doing pretty well with it there. I think you're doing pretty well. Lenore says, I have a hard time keeping track of what clubs I can go into in what airports. What's the easiest for beginners? Okay, so there used to be a Lounge Buddy app. This is kind of a side note, but I really loved it. It was run by American Express. They don't have it anymore. I'm looking on my phone what it's called now. Now it's called Loungepedia. There's an app you can download with the App Store called Loungepedia, and it's really pretty helpful. It's not quite as good as, Lounge Buddy, you could put in your routing and what flights you were going to do, and it would tell you when you got there, what airline port lounges you had access to and all that. Loungepedia is not quite that extensive, but it is helpful. You can type in whatever airport you're in, and it'll tell you what lounges are available to you once you've told it what statuses you have and what different cards you possess and things of that nature. Great question. Thank you for that. All right, so moving on to the United Quest card. Now, I used to have the United Quest card in its old manifestation when it was $250 a year, and I liked it. I ended up upgrading to the club card before I moved on to Delta and American. But the Quest card I thought was a pretty good card, and it may be the most valuable of all of these. So let's run through it together. Now, their direct competitor, and the one that it seems like they're copying, is the American Express Delta Platinum card. It's also $350. So let's see how it stacks up. All right, $350 annual fee, 70,000 miles, and 500 PQP for 4,000 in spend in 3 months. So the 500 PQP is the metric that United Airlines uses to help people gain status or allow people to gain status. And I think the bottom level, if I'm wrong about this, somebody correct me below, but I think the bottom level is maybe 5,000 for silver and then goes to 10,000. I think it's exactly the same as Delta. It goes to 10,000 for gold, and then platinum's maybe 15,000. And then it jumps up to like 28,000 for 1K. So in essence, what you get is you get 1 PQP for every dollar you spend flying on United, or you get 1 PQP for, I think with them, it's every $15 you spend on a credit card up to a certain cap. So that's what that's about, is how you get status with United. So basically you get 70,000 points for that 4,000 in spend, and you get 10% of what it takes to get to silver status, the lowest level. So that 500 PQP is not overly meaningful, but 70,000 miles, that's not a terrible sign-up bonus on an airline card. The multipliers are, I guess, a little better. You get 3X on United. As I said, it's not 8X like they advertise, because you get 5X anyway for being a Mileage Plus member. But 3X, that's a little bit better. That's starting to get more comparable with some of the transferable currency type cards. And you get 2x on dining and travel. Those are not exciting at all. You do get an automatic $200 travel bank credit. But as I said, I believe it expires in a year, but still you're getting, you're getting a credit for this, which is pretty good. You can use travel bank just to pay for flights. So I got to say that one's a better credit, maybe an A- or a B+ credit. It'd be better if it was just refunded to the card rather than a travel bank credit, but still. You get $150 for the Renowned Hotels. That's kind of like their Fine Hotels and Resorts program, their version of it that American Express has. So you get $150 when you book with that. So just those two right there. If you get your travel bank credit and you get $150 for Renowned Hotels, you're getting your money back. And that seems like that would be pretty easy to use because this one's not broken up like 75 each 6 months like it was with the Explorer card. So much better. $100 rideshare credit broken up in a weird way. $8 a month, $12 in December. Just so strange, but still $100 rideshare, $8 a month's a little bit better, more reasonable than the 5 we saw before. $40 times 2, so $80 a year in rental cars. Again, you got to do it twice a year. But what's really weird about it, it's not just a credit back to your card, it's to the travel bank. So again, you got more travel bank credit, which I guess you could use that for flights. See, they're trying to steer you back into United on everything except that JSX thing. So they're trying to steer you back in, and they want you to do it twice a year instead of just once. $15 a month Instacart, $10 and $5. So you got to use it twice to get the $15 a month. And then this is kind of a good feature, a 10,000 mile discount annually on your redemption. So if you book a 80,000 point business class flight, you're going to get 10,000 back of that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, I think if you spend a lot on the card, you can earn another one of those, but it didn't seem reasonable, so I didn't even put it on here. Check bags, TSA, same thing, and that crazy JSX thing. So what do you think of the United Quest card? I mean, Gentleman Explorer, you talked about the other one. This one will be pretty decent too, because this card would give you, in fact, I think at the end of the day, if you're going to fly on United, you're going to get that $200 travel bank credit. And if you just book one hotel through that Renowned Hotels, you're going to get that 150 back. This one may be the best card for someone in your situation, taking 2 flights a year for 4 people, checking bags. I think this is the best card in the lineup because it's got a pretty good sign-up bonus. You've got a pretty easy path to get all your points back. And it doesn't, the only disappointing thing, I would really like this card if it also gave those 2 annual passes to the United Club, but it doesn't. So that's the Quest card. But how does it add up to the Delta American Express Platinum card? Well, it's also $350 a year. The Delta card, you can also get back more than you pay for the card in credits. I think I know there's a Delta Stays credit. It might be $150. There's also a Resi credit. That's a dining credit if you go to Resi restaurants. I do that every single month. I love my Resi restaurant. We only have one in our town, but I love it. I use it with my Delta Reserve. And that's a pretty easy way to get back your $120. So right there, you got 150, 270. I think it has some rideshare credits also. But the reason I would say the Delta Platinum card is better than this card, even though this is kind of the best one in their lineup here, the Delta card gives something this one doesn't. It gives a free companion certificate. So once a year, and it has an expiration of a year out, it gives you buy one ticket, you get one free, you just pay the taxes and fees. We have used that with our Delta Reserve over and over and over. With the Platinum card, you can only do it in main cabin, but still, that's an extra. I mean, you're already getting back what the card costs with the Delta Platinum, and you also can get that great benefit of a free companion that can be worth $300, $400, $500, $600, $700. So depending on where you go, and it's good even to Hawaii. So I would say, yeah, United's trying to be like Amex. They're trying to compete, but this card is the best one they've got so far, but doesn't come close to competing with the Amex Delta Platinum card. All right. No more comments right now. Anybody has any thoughts about any of these? Make sure to put it in the comments. All right. So then we have the United Club card. The United Club card, I had this card for years and I liked it. When I was flying United all the time, I was doing 15 to 20 flights a year on United round trip. And so I went in their clubs all the time. It has this is crazy. It went from, I think it was $525 before. It went to $695. That makes this tied with the Platinum card from American Express. And it ain't no Platinum card. It's just crazy that they went so high. So what do you get for that? Well, you get a 90,000 point sign up bonus for 5,000 in spend. And it might at times have some PQP bump, but I didn't see it when I was looking it up. So I didn't put it on the slides. But yeah, it's crazy. They really raised that annual fee. Pack Rat commented on that. He said, I'm canceling my club card. I have to have a 12-hour delay before getting any benefits for a $695 card. He's talking about the travel benefits and the insurances and things. 12-hour delay on. Yeah. If you're going to charge the most of any card out there or tied for the most of any card out there, you better give the best benefits of any card out there. That's how I would look at it. But yeah, it does not. Budget Avis is sad. SFO lounges are trash, and every chair has a massive hole in the seat. Well, just be careful to hold the armrest so you don't fall in those craters. But yeah, when I was flying United, I wasn't crazy about their clubs. I fly Delta and American now, and the American clubs, they're not great either, but on the whole, they're about the same. Maybe they're getting better. They might slightly be better than some of the United clubs, but the Delta clubs are way, way better. Yeah, this is a lot of money for just adequate clubs, and that's basically what you're getting, not getting great travel protections. Thank you, Pack Rat, for that. Joe FTPA says, the Delta Companion certs are great, and Delta cards offer 2,500 MQD towards status. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. So MQDs, that's the metric that they use with Delta, just like PQPs with United. And like we said, that previous card, the Quest card, gives you 500 PQPs. That's 10% of the way to the lowest status. Well, the Delta card gives you 50% of the way to the Delta status, the lowest level. And if you have two of their cards, you get silver status, period. If you have two of the cards that offer it. So yeah, to me, there's just no comparison. They're trying to copycat. It's almost like they said, well, we want to be like American Express, but we're going to make a generic version of the name brand. That's just how it seems. So I don't know. But yeah, Joe, I agree completely. The companion certs are great with Delta. We use ours every single year. Usually we'll take a little trip to New York, see a play, and enjoy a nice hotel, and then fly back. And those things are, some people talk about having trouble using them. I've never had trouble using ours. It's been easy, and there's been a lot of availability. They're a great benefit, and they always make those cards, the Platinum with Delta and also the Reserve, worth more for us than what we pay in annual fees. All right. No new comments. So what are the multipliers? Well, this one, I got to say 4X on United in addition to the 5X. So really you're going to get 9, but you would get 5 anyway for being a Mileage Plus member. 4X is getting pretty good. That's where, my American card, my American Executive card gives me 4X on American. However, I won't say they're exactly the same because American miles are just worth more than United miles are. So but still, that's pretty good multiplier. Same 5X on United hotels, and then 2X dining and 2X travel. So the rest of them aren't impressive at all. If you're buying lots and lots of paid United flights, I guess this could be okay. But you could also put it on a Chase card that gets 3 or 4X. And those points can be transferred to United. So that's got to be considered. So we'll just kind of give that a B- on their multipliers there, because the dining, no way. Don't put your dining on this card. The United hotels, well, are they even, how much more inflated is the value in the price than if you were, booking in some other way? So who knows? All right. So that's the multipliers. $200 travel bank credit. Same thing we saw before. That's pretty good, but you got a whole lot more annual fee to make up for. So you still got from $695, you still got $500 to make up for. $200 in the renowned hotels. Okay. Now we're down to $300 to make up for. 150 ride share in that weird $12 a month and then 18 in December way. The same ridiculous rental car credit, $50 times 2. So $100, but it's broken up both times. $20 per month Instacart, but you do get United Club membership, but they've limited it. So used to you to be able to bring in quite a few guests and then, your authorized users and all that, but they've made some changes. It's not quite as good as it used to. And then check bags, TSA, and that ridiculous JSX credit. So what do you think of this one? I'm going to compare it in a second to the Delta Reserve, the one they're trying to copy that they're way worse than. But do you have this? Have you had it? I don't have it now. I'm down to the Gateway card. But if I'd still had it, I would not keep it. Well, let me go back to the comments. Let's see. RC, all right. $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much. I don't get a lot of those, so I get excited when I get one. So RC, thank you for being a channel member as well. Appreciate you. That means a lot, a lot. So thank you for that super chat and supporting the channel. Okay. Acme Acres A says all these cards are trash. I'd rather get the AA executive card and not use any of the credits. I just don't like any of their credits. Let me tell you, I agree 100%. I have the AA executive card. I love it. In fact, one day I did a little exercise where I was thinking about if I had to get rid of all my cards, what would be the last ones I keep? And it was number 2. Number 2. Number 1 was the City Prestige card because I could never get it again. But right after that one was I'm keeping the American Airlines executive card. It is lots better. So yeah, lots better. Because I mean, talk about 5X United Hotels. Well, it gives you 10X for hotels through the portal with American Airlines. And the Delta Reserve. The Delta Reserve is so much better than this. And so, yeah, I mean, it's very, very exciting to look at what those other cards are compared to what we see here with this United Club card. Now, when we look at some of these things and compare them over to Delta, the Delta Reserve is what they're copying. They're not copying the AA card. They're trying to be Delta. And you know why? Because the AA card has a few little credits. Some of them are good. I mean, like the rideshare credit is, and I'd love to hear what Acme Acres thinks about that rideshare credit, having to take 3 Lyft rides before you get $10 on the 4th. I hate that. But I agree. Even with the less credits and not good credits, that card's still better. But they're not trying to be the executive card from American. They're trying to be the Delta Reserve card. And that's where they're copying these. I mean, a hotel credit through their portal. They're trying to copy their travel bank to kind of mimic what Delta's given you in a companion certificate. But let's just compare them for a second. $650 versus $695. Okay, that's pretty close. Delta will often give you that high of a sign-up bonus. The Delta's card has a little worse multipliers, but truthfully, you don't get this card for the multipliers. But now let's go through the rest. The $200 travel bank credit. Okay, Delta wins. Delta gives you a companion certificate for a first-class flight for free. You just pay taxes and fees. I mean, what's that worth? I don't know, $400, $700, $1,000. Better than $200 of United Travel Bank that expires in just a short period of time in a year. I mean, it's no comparison. The $200 for renowned hotels. Okay, but renowned hotels, that's kind of like FHR. Those could be more expensive hotels. Delta gives you their Delta Stays credit on any hotel in their portal. And they just give it to you, the whole thing at once. Delta wins. The $150 ride share. Well, Delta only gives, I think it's $10 a month in ride share, but still that's pretty close. They give 12 and then 18. So we'll call that basically a tie. I guess you could give it a little bit to the United Club card. Then you get into these rental car things that you got to do this and do that. And the Instacart, well, Delta gives you the Resi credit. I use that thing every month. You don't have to make a reservation with Resi. All you have to do is go in the restaurant, use that card. You get $20. And if I can't do it, I'll just run by the restaurant, get a gift card. That's also true with the rideshare, by the way, with Delta. I just put $25 in my Lyft account. I get $10 back if I can't use it that month. So I think all the way around. Oh, and by the way, Delta lounges are better. Now don't get guests. You only get 4 guest certificates a year, but still, what I think United is trying to do is they're trying to say, hey, we want to compete with American Express. We want to have cards like theirs. Okay, but make them as good or make them better. Not like annoying, frustrating, generic copies. And in my opinion, that's what United's done. They've made annoying, frustrated, and generic copies of their competitor's product, the Delta cards. All right, let's get back to the comments, see what we've had several make comments here. Rodrigo Mendez, United Club card gives you guest access, though. The Delta cards don't. Yeah, that's what I was just mentioning. Delta, they do give you, my Delta Reserve does give me 4 passes a year, and then if your player 2 or whatever has an American Express Platinum card or a Delta Reserve of their own, they can get into those clubs too. But yeah, you're right. That is one little benefit of the United Club. It does give, but American gives 2 guests into their clubs with the card, and they even do it for authorized users and everything. So that's something to consider too. Thank you, Rodrigo. All right, Joe FTPA, $2 super chat. Yay. I appreciate that, man. That is awesome. I don't get, like I said, I don't get a lot of those. When RC gave me one before, I was excited. I'm excited again. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Rat Pack, I'm not sure that you get a $200 travel bank credit on club. I'm looking at the benefits unless I'm missing it. Well, I could have made a mistake, but when I was putting this together, I was going through the webpage. So tell me if you don't find it there, then maybe I made a mistake. If you don't get that, then this card is now real bad. I mean, real bad without that $200. So, all right. United Airlines and Chase, this is by Kay. United Airlines and Chase just saw those Amex and Delta numbers and thought they could copy them, but ignored the fact that Amex and Delta, built a better brand and have reasonable base cards before they threw perks on. Yeah, that's why I see these airlines, okay, and the banks. You've got Delta, who's got the premier product, right? I mean, I've flown them all a lot. And Delta just has a better hard product and a better soft product. They just do. I'm not saying they have better cards or a better reward system, but I'm saying the plane is a better experience, apples to apples, and the staff, the flight attendants and things, and the food and all, that's a better experience than American and United. Okay, so they've got that. And then they've got their cards that, yeah, they cost a lot of money, but you can get fairly easily, you can get your value back. Then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got American. And it's almost like American knows, well, we got to have something to compete with. So rather than trying to be Delta, American makes their system where you want to earn status, you don't ever have to even get on a plane. You get this, our top level card will give you lounge access, and will give you, the ability to go in and to have guests with you, and will give you 10,000 points a year twice towards your status. I mean, let's just make it easier to get status for everybody. So they're kind of doing that. Well, here United comes along, and rather than charting their own course, they try to be just like Delta, but then they make cards that are way worse. So, I mean, like, come on, just chart your own course, or at least if you're going to try to compete and copy somebody else, do it as well as they do, or do it better, not way, way worse. All right. Joe FTPA says, Travel Bank would be great if it could be used for seat upgrades. Yeah, that would be pretty good, because, I mean, that's sometimes that money won't pay for you a ticket, but it could get you a pretty good seat upgrade. I agree. That'd be great, but they don't allow that. All right, Lenora, $2. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I love those super chats. It helps to support the channel. I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers. So if anybody on here hasn't subscribed, that I would appreciate that so much. Also, like this, it helps more people to jump on to our live stream. Joe says Delta cards offer 15%. Yeah, that's true. So Delta also, if you have one of their cards, gold or better, gold, platinum, or Delta Reserve, then you get their 15% off on award booking. So that is when that first came out, I thought, yeah, they're just going to inflate their prices, but I don't think they have. It doesn't seem like they have. It seems like a true 15% off. That's a good benefit. On award redemptions, Kay says, and actually show everyone how the Saver 15 works. All right. Kay says, United Airlines just mentions Saver rewards, but unless you're in the hobby, you have no idea what that means, right? I mean, some of this stuff, you realize this is a marketing deal, that all that you say, well, look at all that you get. But to actually get it, you got to go through a lot of hoops. And people who aren't really, engaged in this hobby and deep into this, if it's not really their hobby, then they're not going to realize it. And it's just marketing. Lenore says, yes, I agree. Delta lounges are great. Yeah, they are great. We were just recently in the one at JFK with the kind of terrace out where you can watch the planes. It was pretty outstanding. So QC Man 2000 says, use the Delta Stays credit at a boutique hotel that said they didn't take Amex cards at the check-in. Smiley face. I guess that's a credit to Delta. So that's weird. So you can use the Delta Stays credit at hotels that don't take Amex cards. That is wild. Are the reserve guest passes 24 hours as well? I don't know the answer to that, QC Man. But I will say, I know that when my wife and I used ours in JFK, we went in and then we left for a while, and then we came back and they said, yeah, just go on in. So I suppose that's true if you come back to the same one. I don't know. I just don't have the answer to that. If anybody does, then somebody answer in the comments, because I haven't tried that. In other words, I haven't tried to use it in my home airport and then on the layover use the exact same pass again. I would love to know if that's something you can do. All right. Lenora says, I think so. QC Man 2000, $1.99 super sticker. Yay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Helps me out a lot. And it's a great way to support the channel. Again, if you haven't hit the like button and if you're not subscribed to the channel, please help me with that. I'm going to try to do these every Sunday afternoon at this time at 3:00 Central Time. So want to get on a regular schedule. This is my first time with StreamYard. Hopefully y'all are seeing the slides well and all of that. So thank you for your patience with that. And thank you. I've had several $1.99, $2 super chats, super stickers. I appreciate that so very, very much as I'm marching almost to 1,000. Lenore says, looks great. All right. Super. All right. To get to kind of what is the second, and we're running out of time today, and I'll just add it on to next week's if we do, but because I want to keep these about an hour and 15 minutes. But kind of the main event type of thing, the showcase that I wanted to talk about today, along with restaurant rewards, is the question that I have as a points and miles enthusiast, and is that why are restaurant rewards completely ignored in the community? Have you noticed that? I mean, has anybody else noticed that besides me? They seem to be completely, in other words, nobody ever talks about, I put Steak and Shake on the screen here. I just picked one because they've got a really simple rewards program. But, if you eat at the same restaurants, and I think a lot of people have regular places they eat. I know I do. I eat out at work every single day. And, I don't go to the same place every day, but I probably go to 4 or 5 or 6 places. So I end up at some of them once a week or once every other week or whatever. But we just don't talk about a lot about restaurant rewards. And I think it's kind of strange that we don't do that, because we get real excited about, say, 3% back or 4% back, or man, the crown jewel. If you get 5% back on a credit card on dining or something, I get that on my City Prestige. I love it. But we just the people talk about, praise that card like it's the best thing ever. But when it comes to restaurant rewards, you could consistently, and I've run the numbers on like 30 different programs. you consistently get 7 to 15% return on your spending, in the form of points that you can come back and buy food with again. It's stackable with credit card rewards and dining apps. So you're using your credit card rewards. If you're doing it at a restaurant that's on Built Rewards or something like that, you're getting those points and you're getting the 7 to 15% back. That's just amazing. And so it's just on top of, and we talk about double dipping or triple dipping all the time in this community, but it seems like we just don't ever talk about restaurant rewards. Your meals, sometimes you get a discount on your meals. And then when you cash in those rewards, you're getting meals at 30 to 50% off when you figure all of that in. And in some of the rewards programs, just give you free food items every time you go. A good example of that is Chili's. If you go to Chili's and you just have the app, you get free chips and salsa every time you go. Just every time you go. And that's not uncommon. There are several that are that way. So why are restaurant rewards ignored in the community? I'd love to hear some of y'all's opinions on that as we dive through this. Okay, QC Man 2000 says, so you'd rank the domestic airlines Delta, AA, Spirit, United? Yeah. Well, we got to put Frontier in there. Put them above them too. I flew United for years and I used to really like it. What really, really kind of bummed me out about it is that, first of all, they changed their status structure. I couldn't get to status as easily. And it just seemed like all of my upgrades were drying up. There was always a pilot flying up there or 3 or 4 pilots flying up there. And I was number 1 or 2 on the upgrade list, didn't get my upgrades. Like again and again and again and again. And then it was just, they're not as easy if you have high spend to use your credit cards. They cap how many points you can get towards status. All of that frustrated me. And so I've been experimenting with both Delta and American. And I would say my experience with Delta is better. It's the best. Then American, the hard product is not as good and the staff's not as good, but the rewards program is just flat out amazing. And the value of their points is just off the charts good. So yeah, I would say Delta than them. The Spirit, Frontier, United, but I think we might, tell me QC Man what you think, but maybe at the tail end of the list is Southwest now. Maybe talk about trying to copy somebody else and doing it bad. Southwest. All right. So any more comments? Not yet. So let's go on to some examples of this restaurant reward stuff. Okay. Examples. Burger King. Now, I'm not saying you eat at Burger King. Okay. I don't very often. I really only go to get my free Whopper because of Walmart Plus that you get every 3 months or whatever. But I did check the app. This is just for examples. Okay. Almost every restaurant that's any kind of chain has a rewards program. Burger King, you get 10 points for every dollar you spend. It takes 700. Now they all have different rewards levels. So you can cash in less points for a fries than you would for a drink, and then more points for a burger or whatever. So $5.49 is what a Whopper costs, and it's 750 points. So when you do the math on that, you're getting a 7% return. So every time you buy anything at Burger King, you're getting 7%, which that's better than any credit card that you're going to get points on. But you get that in addition to your credit card points. Then you got things like Firehouse subs. Firehouse's system is you get 100x points. So if you spend $1, you get 100 points, right? So that's how they work it. It takes 8,000 points to redeem, like for a standard sandwich. Then that's about an $8.69 value. That's a 10.8% return. 10.8% at Firehouse. Pyros, that's a pizza place. I don't know if they're where you are, but there's a lot of places like Blaze Pizzas like that. California Pizza, I think, Pizza Kitchen, something like that. They all have their own rewards programs. But Pyros, which is in my area, it's 10x. So if you spend $1, you get 10 points. And 1,800 is what it takes to redeem for a pizza person, build your own pizza. That's like 1,180. So that's a 6.5%. So not as good as the others, but still 6.5. I mean, nobody would sneeze at that. Then you got McAllister's. That's like a chain restaurant. They give 10x also. It's 1,500 to get a standard entree. and a standard entree is about $12.49. That's an 8.3% return. Steak and Shake. Steak and Shake gives 1x. So if you spend $1, you get 1 point. But it only takes $20 to redeem for a $2 credit towards your next meal. So, I mean, that's very simple math. That's 10%. 10% return to Steak and Shake. McDonald's. McDonald's gives you 100 points for every dollar you spend. 6,000 points will get you a Big Mac. Okay, that is $5.19 where I live. If you live in California or somewhere like that, it might be more, but $5.19 where I live, that's an 8.6% return. And then Chipotle gives 10x when you spend $1, so 10 points per dollar. It's $1,625 for a burrito or like a bowl or whatever you want, $10.70 in value. That's a 6.6% return. Now, I want to ask, what do y'all think of this? I mean, why don't we ever talk about this? Why don't we hear much about it? Because these are pretty good returns. I mean, we get excited for 3% or 4% or 5%, but yet we've got an avenue on top of those credit card rewards to get another 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10%. But yet we don't really ever discuss it. I'd love to hear why you think that is. Okay, going back to the comments, QC Man agreed. I think it's because the community is so travel focused, something like restaurant rewards falls through the cracks. Unless it's something like the AA dining program, only a few even cover that. Yeah. I mean, sometimes built dining is talked about. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard that before in different live streams and stuff, and videos, and sometimes AA dining, but very, very seldom does anybody ever talk about actual restaurants and their actual reward program. But you can double and triple stack it. And so it's crazy to me that people who are so focused on getting rewards, there's this entire segment of society that gives really good rewards that's never even discussed. Okay. QC Man never traveled with Southwest, but it seems like the person who fly them are more devastated by the changes than the Delta loyalists were at Delta 1.0 changes a few years ago that got partially walked back. Yeah, I think so, because the changes Delta walked back really, to me, weren't as imperative to their core demographic and what their core demographic wants. But Southwest fundamentally changed who they are. I mean, their very identity. And so that's what I think is going on there. Lenora says, yeah, double or triple dip. Yeah, that's where restaurant rewards really, really are awesome. So moving on to the next slide. So the thing about restaurant rewards to me that is so awesome is the triple dip opportunities. So let me tell you, I have gotten some crazy. I think if you ask me, what's the best deal you've ever gotten in your life? I've gotten some pretty amazing business class deals. I've gotten some great deals on hotels. But if you were to ask me, hands down, what's the best deal you've ever gotten in the rewards world? My answer is going to be O'Charlie's Nachos. Because there's a restaurant in our area, a chain restaurant called O'Charlie's. They have a rewards program that is crazy because you can use mileage plus X, so you get United miles, and they're at a 5X rate. So when you pay for your meal, you can just pay for it through the United Mileage X app, and you get 5X United miles on top of your credit card rewards. So I use my City Prestige card there, use the United Mileage Plus app. It gives me an instant gift card, pay for it. I'm getting 5X per dollar City points, thank you points. I'm getting 5X per dollar United miles, plus their rewards program. I'm not sure if it's still this way, but a year ago it was. Their rewards program was not money-based. It was visit-based. So every time you came, you counted for one visit. When you had 3 visits, they give you a $10 gift card or $10 credit towards a meal. Okay. On Mondays, they have a special, and it's right on my way to work. They have a special on Mondays that they have this great chicken nacho dish that is, I like it. And it's on sale for $5 every Monday. It's their lunch special. So for 3 Mondays in a row, I went by and I used the Mileage Plus X app, got me a $5 and whatever the tax is gift card. I got 5X on my City Prestige card. I got 5X United miles, and I got one visit. So they gave me back $10 after going 3 times and spending $5 each time. So right there, I saved 66%. Plus, I got all my 5X points with thank you points, all my 5X points with United points. It was well north of 75% return. That's just incredible. I mean, that's the best deal I've ever gotten on anything ever. And that's because of that triple dip. See, I got my credit card reward, I got the Mileage Plus X, and I got the restaurant reward. So triple dip opportunities. Mileage Plus X is 2 to 5X United miles at a lot of restaurants. I mean, I have videos on that. You can look at that, but it is amazing. Seated. Have you not used Seated? Some of you I know probably have used Seated. If you use that, put something in the comments. So Seated is really cool because it's only in really big cities. I think there's only like 7 cities in the United States, but I've used it at DFW when I go visit my daughter. And man, we'll go to restaurants and you can get sometimes 15, 18, 22, 26% back. And you have to buy gift cards with it, but still 26% back. Now, what was crazy about Seated is we went to a few of them that were also on the United Airlines dining app. And so we also got the not United, I'm sorry, American. We also got the American points and the Seated and our credit card rewards. And it was 26%. It was just unbelievable. Check out the Seated app if you don't have it. And if you live in a big enough city to have it there. And then dining programs, American's dining program, and United has one, Delta has one. There's a lot of restaurants on that. Oftentimes they aren't chain restaurants, so you want to pick and choose these based upon the kind of restaurant you're going to. But Americans, and I think Uniteds and Deltas are very similar, like you get 3X just by going to that restaurant in addition to your credit card rewards. And if you maybe go, I think with American, it's 12 times a year, starting with the 13th visit to one of those restaurants, you start getting 5X on top of your credit card rewards. So if I'm using my City Prestige, I'm getting 10X. And American points are very valuable. And then there's this new app called Upside. I've been using it a lot for gas. It often gives me 10 to 15% cash back on gas. And I can even use that to cash it out to my bank account. I don't have to, like with Capital One rewards or Seated, I don't have to get gift cards. I can bring it right back to my bank account. And it's got some restaurants, chain restaurants on there. I saw some today, like Taco Bell was 15% and KFC was 26%. There was a pizza place, 22%. So you could use that Upside app and use your credit card. And even if the restaurant itself had its own, rewards program, then you're going to triple dip. So with all of these, you can triple dip. And it would be nothing to get 25% in value every single time you go. So let me know what you think. If you haven't hit the like button, please do that. If you haven't hit subscribe, oh boy, that would help my channel immensely. And those of you who gave super chats and super stickers, the $1.99, the $2 super chats, super stickers, those help me out a ton. Thank you so very, very much. Let's go back to the comments. RC, triple dip is awesome. And if you live in a city with Seated, oh yeah, okay. Seated app. Sometimes you can quadruple dip. Oh yeah, tell us about that. How do you quadruple dip with it? That would be amazing. Amazing. QC man, visit-based rewards, great. I remember when the Starbucks rewards program was a visit purchase based, and it was easy to build up rewards back then. It's been nerfed a few times since then. Yeah, I mean, that visit rates rewards, it's crazy. I mean, sometimes you find really, really tricky things. I kind of told a fib, I guess, because that wasn't the best one we ever had. The best one we ever had was at a restaurant called TGI Fridays. Remember TGI Fridays? Well, they ran a promotion for a while. There was one right next to our house, and they ran a promotion for a while that was like, you get all you can eat appetizers. Okay. Well, I had their rewards program. I went in, my son and I, who was playing high school football at the time and could eat a ton. We went in, we both ordered an all-you-can-eat appetizers. I'm telling you, the boy ate 10 or 12 plates of appetizers. The bill came, and how they calculate the bill is they rung up 12 appetizers, and then they subtracted 11. But when they added up my TGI Friday points, it was based upon the 12 orders. So we literally got so many. And I even asked the lady, I said, I don't want to be dishonest. This is crazy. She said, that's how the system does it. That's what we've been told to. That's how we've been told that they can't do anything about it. That's what it does. And I said, well, you understand that literally every time we come in here, it's going to be free from now on because you gave me more rewards than the entree cost. And then it'll happen again and again. She said, yeah, I know. That's just the way it. So we like ate at TGI Fridays for free, like, and got credit card reward points on top of that again and again and again. So it was just nuts. All right. Miko, thank you for mentioning the Mileage Plus app. Did not know that existed until you mentioned it. Although United Airlines miles don't go as far as they used to. No, they're not. But I basically only rack them up. Sometimes I'll do a transfer from United if there's something I want to use it for. But mostly I just rack them up through Mileage Plus X. And so I just go to places that are on the app. I like Texas Roadhouse. I like Outback. I like Olive Garden. All those places are on the app. And they give great rewards. And so my mileage balance with United goes up, 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 even though I don't fly United and even though I don't use their cards. So I have points in there. And sometimes you'll get a good business class redemption, 80,000 points or so. So yeah, it's a great double, triple dip opportunity. QC Man says TGIF is going through bankruptcy now. I guess your son was the cause. Yeah, I think so. Because I mean, we didn't do it all the time, but probably once a week for a while, we were going in there and just eating free appetizers, a lot of free appetizers. It was crazy. It was crazy. But that's the thing about restaurant rewards. If you're looking for it, then to me, I don't do it because I cared about the $12 for the, I do it because it's fun. I mean, that's why we're in this hobby, right? This is what we like. It's fun. It's a game. It's exciting. So that's certainly true. Well, we're coming up on an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to go through a couple more slides. If you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, please do that. Thank you again to everybody who's given a super chat or a super sticker. Also look at joining my channel membership. It's only $2.99 a month. You can cancel anytime. And I put out special reward videos that are just for members only. And I have a Discord just for my RM Insiders channel members. So check that out. You can cancel anytime, $2.99 a month. But thank you again for all of those super stickers and super chats. Let me go through just a couple more slides here and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, I said that every time on Sundays, I'm going to try to go through some upcoming trips and just talk about redemptions. This is what we have upcoming. In the fall, we're going to go to Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Berlin. We've not been to any of those cities, and that's what we do. We let the points and miles determine the time and the place where we get good deals. So I'm going to break this up. Next week, I'll probably go into the rest of it, but going to Abu Dhabi, we'll get a positioning flight to Boston, and then we're flying Etihad business class Boston to Dubai. That was 86.5 thousand flying blue miles each. Of course, I got transfer bonuses, and so it was really less than that, but I couldn't find exactly what my transfer bonus was on it. So it was $4,442 a person minus $210 in fees. That's a 4.9 cent per point redemption. So I was pretty excited to get a 4.2 cent per point redemption. And we've never flown Etihad. If you've flown it, let me know if it's good or not. Comrade Abu Dhabi. We're going to stay there. We're going to stay there for 2 nights. And it was $380, but it's a Hilton resort. I will pay with my Hilton Aspire card. I'll get $200 off the resort credit. So our stay will be $180 to stay in a Conrad in one of the wealthiest cities on earth. So that is going to be, that's pretty awesome to me. So let me know what you think. $180, 2 nights in a Conrad. Then we're staying at a very nice boutique hotel for 2 days in Dubai. They're only about an hour apart, Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And that was $300. I think it was $300 and like 26 cents or something like that. with Delta Stays, but I got a $200 Delta Stays credit. So that boutique hotel for 2 nights, a nice boutique hotel, is $100. That's all we're going to end up paying for that one. And then we're going to fly from Dubai to Berlin. I put Qatar. I shouldn't have done that. It's Dubai. We're going to fly business class on Qatar from Dubai to Berlin. And it was 42,500 AA miles. Now, here's a trick. American Airlines has pretty good redemptions anyway on business class, but check them from outside the United States to somewhere else outside of the United States. They can be crazy good. So Qatar business class, we're hoping it's going to be, it's kind of up in the air because they change planes a lot, but we're hoping it's going to be, in that crazy good business class they have. And so we'll see if it is. If not, though, it's still got great service and still business class for only 42,000 points each. That would be $2,215 a piece minus $73 in fees. That's a solid 5 cent per point redemption. So that's what we've got coming up. Like I said, if you've flown any of those, let us know. I don't know if it'll be Q Suites or not, but we're hoping it will be. Either way, though, I'm sure we'll be pleased with it. All right. The reward deal of the day, Iberia business class. There's been some news that Iberia has recently devalued. Used to, you could get a business class flight from the U.S., like JFK, to Madrid, or the opposite direction, from Madrid back to JFK, for 34,000 points in business class. And the taxes and fees weren't that high either. We did it. So these are pictures of, we went in the Iberia lounge there. That's my wife laying down in the lay flat seats. We did that flight a couple years ago, and it was good. I mean, I think it was like, I would say exactly comparable to United Polaris. And even though that's not the best business class product we've flown, it's a good business class product. So I think that was a smoking good deal, 34,000 points. Well, now it's 40.5 thousand points. So, the sky's fallen devaluations, but still, here's the thing. It's a great business class experience. At least ours was. I've heard bad experiences, but ours was good. It's still 50+% cheaper than other options. So you can get one with, if you get a 70,000 point redemption with Aeroplan, or if you get a 60,000 point redemption with Flying Blue, this is still only 40,500 points. And it is a business class product that we had a great experience on. Food was great. Service was great. Seat was outstanding. So I just wanted to kind of highlight this. Has anybody done this flight before? I think even after this devaluation, this is still one of the best deals going to get to Madrid, to get to that western part of Europe from the U.S. So I ran a search with Point.me through American Express, and this is what it showed me. I just picked a random date, and looky here. You got from JFK over to Madrid, and with the transfer bonus from American Express that's going on right now, because there are always transfer bonuses over to British Airways, it's 32,000 British Airways points. 32,000 for a business class flight. I mean, what an incredible, incredible deal. So that's kind of the one I wanted to highlight for us today. Last thing for today is, and like I said, before we wrap up, if you would hit the like button, and also if you haven't subscribed, do that. If anybody else wants to drop a super chat, I won't tell you no, I'll celebrate. So thank you for that. But when it comes to this last category of things I want to discuss every week, is status stuff. And this is same day changes or clutch. I have Platinum Pro with American, and recently I was on a trip, and because of circumstances, I had to buy a ticket that was late in the day to get back home. And then weather was rolling in, and I had plenty of time to leave earlier. When I booked it, I didn't know that. So there were 3 flights leaving on American earlier in the day, and they were all booked up. And so I went and did the same day change in my app. Now, a lot of folks can same day change, but if you have high status, this was awesome because I same day changed. It put me on standby on every flight before mine. I mean, 3 flights that were flying out before mine. And it put me at the top of the standby list. You know how many seats became available? 1 on the very first flight out. And the lady, I was kind of sitting right there close to the counter, and the lady was watching, and she, as soon as she could, I think they were boarding group 2, she said, come on up here. Come on up here. I got you. And she got me on. It was in the back of the plane, but I was just happy to get home because it ended up canceling my flights later that day. I would have had to stay in that city overnight, not got home to the next day. So sometimes having status is pretty clutch for those same day changes. So I just wanted to mention that. All right, we're an hour and 20 minutes and a little longer than I intended for the first one, but I don't think we have a lot more comments. Yeah, QC Man says, devaluations are part of the game, unfortunately. And absolutely. I mean, it is. It's part of the game. It's going to happen. So, I mean, you just got to roll with it and still find the new deals. All right. I want to thank everybody for being on here today. Again, if you didn't hit the like and subscribe button, please do that. That'll help me out a lot. Thank you for all the super chats today. Thank you for the discussion, the great comments, the great questions. And I'm planning to do these most Sunday afternoons at 3:00. So please be looking for them. Thanks for joining me, and we will see you here next time.